So now we get into formulas. The sole purpose we get into programming.
Yes.
In order to take a formula and translate it to a program.
Yes.
So that we don't have to do the formula again.
Absolutely. Do we just take it from the top?
Yep.
Let's do it.
So on the left, we'll see the classic formula of x equals 3 times 10.
But it's an X.
Yes.
3x10.
X symbol.
That's not like a computer time sign.
Right,
What do we
that's
do?
the math symbol.
Yeah.
So, well, as we learned, the X symbol is really the asterisk symbol.
Yeah.
So, X equals 3 asterisk 10. And that's our formula. It's that simple. So we're just swapping the operator in that case.
What do we do in the case of a 2 over 3 times 100?
Well, we lay it out and do the order of operations. So in this case, it's basically the same thing. We want to evaluate 2/3 first. So we say x equals, and then in parentheses, 2/3, which looks pretty much the same if you just kind of tilt the 2 over 3 to the left a little, multiplied by 100. So inside the parentheses will be evaluated first, then the multiply operation against the 100 will be stored as x.
Although technically speaking in order of operations, the parentheses are not necessary, but for aesthetics it's there, because with order of operations, that would actually read from left to right. But it's good practice. Parentheses are always good. Now, next, this is a little bit more complicated to explain, and we'll do our very best to simplify it. When you do something to the power of something, a lot of languages have their own way of doing it. There are some languages that allow you to simply do, if you're doing x equals 10 squared, 10 caret 2 to symbol to the power of a number. However, there are a fair amount of languages that don't allow this functionality because the caret is reserved for other functionality, and you're forced to use functions or classes to do this. So in some languages, you may have a power function like we created before, where you pass the lower number 10 to the power of 2. We also have that same exact situation below, where we have the square root of 10. Well, the square root of 10 is actually 10 to the power of 1/2. Now, there are some languages, like I think C has an SQRT function that does a square root, but when you're doing a square root, that's what you're doing. Power of 1/2. So in this case, we have 10 caret 1/2 for languages that would support this syntax. For other languages that don't, that use functions, we would say use the power function for that language, 10, 1/2. Now Brian gets this nice, fun, little complicated one here.
Nice. Okay, and this last function is going to be the calculation of the area of a trapezoid.
We think. We hope.
Probably. Which is a is equal to the base plus the other base times height over 2. So, to translate this, we just kind of march through it from top to bottom, and we say, let's take the top half first, and say the inner parentheses, the uppercase b plus lowercase b, just like it is in the formula, in parentheses, multiply symbol, lowercase h. So we're assuming we've already stored these variables beforehand, that they have values, and then we encase that entire thing in parentheses. So now we have a parenthesis before the b plus b and after the h. After we've encompassed that upper half of the formula, that we then say /2 to divide by 2. So that effectively reads, a is equal to the value of b plus b times h, all divided by 2.
Now, unlike the other formula where the parentheses technically didn't matter, in this one in this case the parentheses absolutely matter. Without those parentheses, you get the complete wrong answer.
That's true.
So, order of operations, people.